Hello. This is Blues with Saturn Blues Gaming, and we have a treat because today I'll be taking a look at Reddit. Yeah, you guys knew this was gonna come, but I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Whenever people look at Reddit, they always find relationship advice or something of that caliber. I actually wanted to take a look at a more sadder type of subreddit. And I'll pop that window up in a second. But if you guys want to see, content like this or more, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Also, if you guys have any ideas for me to do like any, future reacts or games or anything like that, you can hit me up on my socials, which will be in the description below, such as Neighbahood. Are you tired of politics? Are you sick of, the algorithm trying to push things on you? Are you tired of websites stealing information and, your metadata and things like that? Well, come on to Neighbahood. It's a mixture of Twitter and Facebook, kind of like design-wise, but there's no algorithm to push anything. There's no data that's stolen and fed to people. It's literally just a website where you can just go in and hang out. So, join Neighbahood. Like I said, not description, but this is how you can tell. This is how you can tell this is this is not sponsored, and I don't have a script or anything. Everything is always off the top of my dome. I feel like it's more sincere that way, but yeah, the link to Neighbahood is in the description below. Other than that, you can also catch me on stuff like Blue Sky. Yeah, that's it. You think I go on Twitter? Fuck that. Anyway. All right. So, like I said, there's a subreddit that caught my eye. If you like, about 4 years ago, and I was like, holy shit, this is the saddest subreddit that I could ever like not sad in a sense of children being hurt and stuff like that. It's more the emotional pain, have you ever had a parent that joined a cult and no matter how hard you tried to save them, it just never worked out? Have you met other people that had the same experience? Well, come on down to QAnonCasualties. That's right, QAnonCasualties, where it is the saddest, emotional website, subreddit on Reddit in terms of emotional shit. So basically this website is all about parent about parents or friends or spouses, falling into the MAGA cult, and how devastating that is for the people they leave behind. Like I said, I probably didn't explain it well, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to kind of bring a spotlight on this because right now we're on the verge of a civil war, okay? And now that we know that Israel is doing some bullshit on Iran, ever so closer to a world war. So not only Civil War II, but World War III. Count on the verge of both, and the doom scrolling, guys, the doom scrolling. But with the emotional, with everything that's been going on, in the world, especially in our climate in 2025, political wise, I wanted to take a look at this subreddit specifically because some of the things I read in the past, it's sincerely sad. Let's take a look at some of the things here. Like, let's take a look at this one. A letter to my dad. He taught me well. All right. Hi, Dad. Happy birthday. Remember the last few texts you sent me before we stopped talking last year? I wanted to let you know you were right. Gangs and thugs have invaded my city here, and I've been forced to prepare myself for the worst. What you didn't mention is that these gangs will be in uniform. They're taking to the streets, kidnapping family members of my community. They're starting riots against peaceful protesters downtown, so this is clearly in LA. Actually, no. There's a lot of protests going on right now. So it may be LA, but it may also be, oh shit, there's a lot of them. But as if people aren't aware, there's huge like ICE protests going on around the country. And LA was the first biggest one. I think Texas is there too. I think Chicago and New York are there as well. And I know there's more. It's just I can't remember off the top of my head. So, ICE protests. That should date this to June of 2025. So they're brutalizing my peers right in front of our eyes and shooting anyone who has the capacity to show the world what's happening. Oh yeah, like there's a video, right, of a woman, literally like a reporter, getting like the police lifted up their gun, purposely aimed it at the reporter, and then shot her in the leg. And she was like a Australian reporter in the US. Then there was another clip where we saw like a few people kind of like hiding, and the police like comes around and just pops, you know, a poor woman in the head. And there was another one where a woman was walking home. That's quite the trend. Woman. And another woman also got shot in the head by a rubber bullet. And rubber bullets, I'm sorry, sidebar. Rubber bullets, when you hear it, they make it sound nice, or like they're not as dangerous, like non-lethal. But fuck that, they're very, very lethal. They're literally a big ass steel ball with a thin rubber casing around it. Like someone, like during the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, some poor woman got hit in the head with that, and she's dying, like straight up, like mental deficiencies now. She's blind. It's really fucked up. So people say, oh yeah, they're using rubber bullets. They're not tiny little pellets. They're big steel balls with a thin rubber casing. It's sick. But anyway, here it is. The last few nights have been haunted by the discord of police sirens and helicopters flooding my neighborhood. The cops have switched from using non-lethal weapons to relying on lethal gunpoint. Oh, that's new. And support from men trained for lethal combat, not against criminals, against residents opposed to this, residents like me. If you carefully look back on our texts, you'll see I didn't call you a racist. I expressed my concern about your behavior following racist tendencies. I told you I love you, and I let you know I was worried you were falling for propaganda. You became upset by that at the end, that's fine. Your vote has made it clear to me now. You are racist. You're a fascist, and you are part of the reason why my community is being terrorized. While you enjoy your cake and barbecue, I'll be fighting the monsters you brought to my door. I hope you're happy, Dad. P.S. Tear gas burns and smells like paint. So, you know, shout out to Mazalaka. I hope I said that right. Because that letter, poignant, like, straight. Like his father clearly fell for the propaganda, and this is, you know, a child that's left behind from that. And like I said, it just keeps going. Like this one, a letter to my mom. That's also by him. Oh my goodness. So not only did so this person wrote a letter to both their mom and oh shit. Okay. So a letter to my mom. I'm finally making peace with our estrangement. We will never be close. By never putting your faith into your daughter's intelligence, you've continuously alienated me over the years. Choosing to believe frauds, priests, an archaic book, and anyone else except your own daughter has led us here. You unwittingly support authoritarians, fascists, anti-science, and racists despite your best judgment. You yourself may not be racist or fascist, but you follow people who are, and you somehow stay blind to it all. I can't help you see that if you never trust me. You can choose to not trust my knowledge about the world, but you can never blame our alienation on me. I'm not just a doll for you to love in a vacuum. I have strongly held convictions and beliefs that you have ignored in favor of your memories of my childhood. I believe in justice and equality above all else. You of all people should know how much I value the lives of others over myself. You say you love me, but you treat me like a precious gemstone instead of a human with real skills and understanding truths of our society. The best thing you did was help me get to a college education, but you failed to understand how much that would benefit our relationship if you just let me share it with you. Only if it aligns with your faith do you care to listen to anything that truly matters. You don't trust your own daughter when it comes to real issues in the world, and that has stayed with me all these years. They say some traits skip between generations. You can continue to stay faithful to the wrong side of history. I plan to follow my grandfather's footsteps and stand up to fascism head on. We will just have to let time pass and reflect on what we did when the modern day Nazis took over our country. So, oh, and here's Texas Violin. I think it's a mistake if you send that to her. But if you're writing to express for your own expression, I support it. I disagree about sending it, but I say send it anyway. This country needs more honesty, in my opinion, not things continuing to be left unsaid. You're also making it clear that you won't stand by and watch her support leaders who are completely intolerant of, well, a lot. So, the paradox of tolerance. Man, I've heard that phrase so often. And for people who don't know, let's look it up. The paradox of tolerance is a philosophical concept suggesting that if a society extends tolerance to those who are intolerant, it risks enabling the eventual dominance of intolerance, thereby undermining the very principle of tolerance. So, here's my view of it. America values stupidity above all else. I mean, look who's in the White House. Look who's running the government. Fucking morons, right? So yes, and one thing I despise about, like, I pride myself on being on the left, right? The problem I have with Democrats is their love of taking the moral high road. You know, they don't want to, ruffle any feathers or, poke the bear, and they're being tolerant. I wouldn't even say tolerant. It feels like some of them in office, and of course you have your others. You have AOC, Jasmine Crockett, JB Pritzker. There was another guy, Christopher. I can't remember his last name. You can say Bernie, but I made my feelings on Bernie quite clear. But you can add him in there too. And outside of those few, a lot of older people like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they're what the paradox of intolerance is about. I feel like they let MAGA do what they want because they don't want to ruffle any feathers or look bad, and they just want to be on that moral purity high ground when we need fighters. And I get that they're from a different time, where honor politics ruled, but we haven't had that literally since 2016. Like, there are people that have been born since then that is looking at, like, it's almost been a decade, right? There's people that grew up under dishonorable politics. Like, that time's over. And the sooner people realize that, the better. But it's not just that. So I listed off two others. This one's actually a good one. Anyone else notice how poorly Qs treat actual rape / trafficking survivors? And then, anyone notice how Qs will often rave over imaginary stories of women and children kidnapped in parking lots and held in tunnels and say, save the children, but will accuse actual survivors of being liars or sluts? I knew a Q who will constantly rant about how satanic Democrats and, LGBTQ plus people traffic women and children and sell them for organs or sex. He also accused the LGBTQ community of being inherently groomers and uses that as proof why LGBTQ plus people should be shunned at best or put in camps at worst. However, that very same Q said all women who came forward about being abused by people like Andrew Tate and Fanta 47 are all liars and looking for an easy payout. He also called trafficking allegations against Matt Gaetz of being fake news. So, yeah, they do that a lot. Like, every accusation is a confession. Like, they literally project everything. But then you have ones like this. Oh my goodness. About to reach my boiling point with my entire family except my baby nephew. What should I do? So, that's a long one. Okay. So, I'm gonna actually just read this. So, I live in one state of the United States while my family all live in another. The houses are in close proximity to each other. My sister lives with my parents, and they live next door to my grandparents. When folks feel like visiting for a while, they congregate at my grandparents' house, where I'm staying because they have the most space and a guest room. I'm here for the summer because my job is more of a 9-month thing rather than a year-round commitment, and it's nice to come home once the semester wraps up, or it used to be. My sister brings my nephew over to hang out. I love him more than the whole world. He's a year old, and everyone says I'm his favorite person besides his mom, of course. We all sit down in the living room and watch him do whatever cute stuff he's doing, like playing with his trucks or trying to walk. It's nice. It was tolerable until the ICE raids of major cities recently started making them feel emboldened to talk. My sister's friends got into a car accident. All I heard about for days was, I bet he was Mexican. He was drunk, so he must have been Mexican. And when he was confirmed to indeed be Mexican, which has nothing to do with anything at all, suddenly it was, well, I want to know if he's illegal. It's the same shit on repeat over and over again. And when they get tired of talking about illegals, it's something like the vaccines causing autism. They don't. And how it's such a great thing that RFK Jr. is getting rid of COVID guidelines, as if they're rejoicing at more people getting sick and dying. He's not even just doing that. He's actively, like, taking away protections, like, in our food. Like, that's a whole ass video in and of itself. Like, it's crazy how the regime that we're under is like, you have like the head dragon head in 47, but even if he's gone, you have a continual, couch fucker in JD Vance, then Mike Johnson, then Kristi Noem, then fucking MTG, RFK Jr., Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, or Hackensack. I don't fucking care about his last name. But like, it's like, there's so much bullshit. There's so much bullshit. So essentially, this person's like, they keep, let me continue. It's like the exact same 3 talking points over and over again. Immigration, vaccines, and COVID. Don't win astray. I just don't get the whole non-binary things. Every few days, and that about sums it up. It's so strange and a little formulaic. They keep bringing up the same topic, hitting exactly the same talking points, word for word sometimes. And that makes sense because I've never met anyone like more like they like to use the term NPC a lot, right? But MAGA are straight up NPCs. Like, I wish I wasn't banned from our conservative, because anytime you don't, bow down to Lord Cheeto, they ban you. So I'm like completely banned. I can't even get on their thing now. But anytime something happens that's like really fucked up, like they would go, "Oh God, this is bad, this is bad." 24 hours later, we follow everything he says. We will do these talking points. I wish there was an example of this. I wish I could find. I bet there's an example somewhere on Reddit, but I've never seen NPCs as much as MAGA. They repeat the same talking points repeatedly. Like and it's actually it's like once they get their everything tuned in all nice and tight, it's like 47 could literally say inject bleach into you to get no, I can't even use that as an example because he did say that. Inject bleach into you to get rid of cold. Yeah, I remember him saying that. Okay. Shit, what's another example? Oh, I know. They're eating the... No. What's a good example here? Oh, I know. Ukraine started the war against Russia. Now, we all know that Ukraine did not. We all know, we all saw, we live in the age of technology. We all saw that in live time. And they'll go, yeah, Ukraine should have just bowed down to Russia. Like the minute he says the sky is red, they'll go, blah, blah, blah. Sky is red. Sky is red. Damn the queers. Sky is red. Sky is red. Illegal immigrants. Sky are red. Like, just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how much of NPCs these people are. And like, if you ever look at them and then talk to them, they all have that vacant, dead look in their eyes. Like there's nothing there. Like just look at one in the eyes. And the lights ain't on. It's literally like they're just walking NPCs. It's crazy to me. So like this person knows. There we go. They keep bringing up the same topic and hitting the exact same talking points word for word sometimes because they get joy from being able to say foul shit out loud and hearing someone agree with them instead of telling them that they're horrible people. Like they'll be talking about strawberries or something. Mom go, well, I wanted to go see whatever show in whatever city with these protesters, and it's so confusing because she said the exact same thing yesterday, to which my grandma responded with the exact same thing she said yesterday, which was, yeah, they're violent criminals and pedophiles. And it's like they're addicted to it or something. Like they can't go 10 minutes without bringing it up, even if it has to be word for word, but they've already said day after day because there's no new material. There's no new material because 47 hasn't given them new material. That's literally it. They don't have the new keywords yet. That's literally the reason. They don't have the new keywords. But so basically, too long, didn't read the rest. When MAGA family gets together and talk shit about anyone who doesn't look like them, my nephew, a baby who loves so much, visits at the same time. If I want to see him, I have to go into the living room and be subjected to their bullshit. I don't want to see him, though, as he's my best, or I guess I do want to. I don't want to not see him, though, as he's my best buddy. What do I choose? My peace of mind or my nephew? And like, I want to look for, and here's another one. Dealing with losing my dad. I can't send this to him. I doubt he'd feel any emotion if I did, but I have to type this out somewhere. Just when just when you see Ma later, do you think you'll be okay with yourself telling her this is how you've treated her kids? This is how you've decided to be a father. This is the moral path you decided to take. To take the un-Jesus like path of hatred, anger, and alcohol. Just fix yourself, man. You don't have to agree with me or even see my side. Just seeing the man I used to look up to sit there in anger and alcohol and ill logic, you need Jesus in therapy. I don't need to be messaging, especially right now when tomorrow I have to go under anesthesia so I can get camered up both ends to check my inflamed stomach. But as much as everyone tells me to ignore you, give up the bridge. Hold on. To ignore you, give up. The bridge won't be rebuilt. I'm still just that little kid holding a hammer and nails, hoping you'll return to the father I knew when I was little. Hoping there's still human in you. Hoping deep down you care more about your kids than your beliefs. It hurts knowing the man who raised you isn't there anymore, which we already had a rough time with when I came out when I was 15 and barely talked, communicating only to my mom, who would try to get love to win over conflict. He always had his beliefs and brings his belief into every conversation we tried to have, even me just talking about work. But sadly, she passed 3 years ago, which I'm still trying to handle, and I don't know if I will. How does a boy handle losing his mom? I turned 26 yesterday, and she wasn't here to celebrate again. It hasn't gotten easier than they say it's supposed to. And now with the way he is morally and politically, especially lately with LA being attacked, I just feel parentless. He's somehow okay with his administration being evil because they're honest. He's a poor working class. We all are. I don't know where he thinks anything going on is going to help him, but he thinks Trump's going to put money in his pocket and turn this economy around. No, dude, he's sinking it. I just don't know anymore. I keep getting told to let him go. He'll figure it out. He's also my dad. It's tough. So that was heavy. And that person, a lot of errors in his writing or their writing, but that's a rough one. And when I went on this website, on this subreddit, these stories, they just, every day, it's something new. Every single day. So and like I said, these aren't some of the worst ones that I've kind of that I've read. It's crazy too, because some of those ones were kind of but so this is all the subreddit is. It's people having to, console themselves over mourning the person that they cared about while that person is still being alive. I bet if Reddit was around when Jim Jones was going about, this would be about him. It's insane to me that people have and I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, politics don't matter. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. The only people that say politics don't matter or, brush off politics are people that feel like they won't get hurt by the politics. People people like POCs, Black Americans, the disabled, people in the LGBTQ community, the homeless, things like that. They're going through that. And I fit both the Black and disabled part. So it's easy for people in privilege to say, I could just, either vote for this guy because I think he'll bring money in and fuck everybody else who won't survive it. Or people who don't vote going, either my vote doesn't matter, or I'm not choosing the lesser two evils, or, both sides are bad and blah, blah, blah. Or just, I'm not interested in politics. Those people live in privilege and feel that they won't get touched by politics, even though politics is everywhere around. And a lot of people would be like, well, they shouldn't have let politics ruin their families' lives. But look at how some of them, look at how the few people that I read about, listen to what they're saying. Their morals are above their families at this point. Like, they feel like there's an injustice while their family is cheering on the oppressor. Like, there are movies about this, man. that's like somebody going, man, that Emperor Palpatine, he's doing real good work. Yeah, he blew up Alderaan, but or, oh man, that Darth Vader, what a hunk. Actually, there are people that say that. Never mind. That's a bad example. But they'll look at Palpatine and go like, he may have just blew up a planet that didn't have anything to do with what was going on. But you know what? I like the cut of his jib. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, politics are all around us. Hell, reading itself is politics. Oh, holy shit. I literally just looked at this one. My QAnon dad thinks I'm a threat to my sister because I'm gay and liberal. I'm a lesbian, engaged, and the oldest of 3 siblings. I have a 20-year-old brother and a 14-year-old sister. My dad has been deep into QAnon since I was 10. Since 10. 10 years old. That's 12 years of this bullshit. Holy shit. My entire childhood was filled with Alex Jones rants, conspiracy theories, and being given colloidal silver instead of actual vaccines. When I left for college in 2020, he warned me not to get the COVID vaccine and told me to avoid being brainwashed by liberal professors. At the time, I still held some conservative views, mostly because of how I was raised, but once I started seriously studying, I have a bachelor's in history, I began unlearning those beliefs and now identify as a strong leftist. My dad and I really started clashing when I began dating my now fiance about 4 years ago. As a kid, he always said he loved and supported me no matter who I loved. That flipped completely when things got serious. He started saying things like, this is just a phase, or you'll marry a man one day so you can have kids. It made me deeply uncomfortable, but sadly it only got worse. When he found out I was serious about my fiance, he banned me from bringing her around my little sister. He also told me not to talk about anything gay around her because it might confuse her. She'll be 15 this October. That hurt a lot. It feels like my own father thinks being around me could somehow damage my sister, like I'm diseased because I'm gay or liberal. The final straw came after the most recent election. Yes, he's full on MAGA, of course he is. I made a Facebook post calling out some historical misinformation. I said something like, people tried to explain history to me like I don't have a literal degree in it. My dad publicly replied, basically calling me a moron for everyone in our extended family to see. I blocked them after that and I haven't spoken to him since. Now I've learned from my brother that my little sister is really struggling. She misses me, but my dad won't even let us be alone together. She doesn't have her own phone, so I can't contact her directly. It's heartbreaking knowing she might not understand why I've disappeared, and I have no idea what kind of lies my dad might have told her about me. I don't know exactly what kind of advice I need, but I'm open to anything. If anyone's been through something similar, or has any ideas on how to reconnect with a younger sibling in a situation like this, I'd really appreciate it. So when people say, "Oh, they're choosing," like you guys can't let politics split you and your family apart. This person, along with every other person that these posts are about, they've clearly chosen to believe lies, propaganda, and misinformation versus their own children. This lady, she has a whole ass bachelor's degree. He's like, yeah, you're a fucking moron. Hail Trump. It's like there's no way people can seriously say, like, and they always put the blame on, you know, on people like that are left leaning. They don't look at their own behavior. They try to justify that. And what else do they? And of course, as always, projection. They know that they're isolating themselves from their family because they feel like they have nothing else. They've fallen down that pipeline, and they know that they're isolating. So they're trying to make it seem like, oh no, they're the bad ones for abandoning me, when they already abandoned them first. Oh boy. Boyfriend's family supports Trump vent. I'm a Latina and my boyfriend's family supports Trump. He's also Latino, but he was adopted by a white family. The first time I met his parents, they were kind to me, and my boyfriend couldn't believe how much they liked me because they hadn't liked his previous girlfriends. The times after I've seen them, I've just been ignored as if I'm not even there. His family also has a large group chat with his siblings and their partners. I'm the only one who hasn't been added. His parents met my parents about 4 months after I met them and were not very kind to them, which broke my heart because my parents are the sweetest and I've nothing but kind, and I've been nothing but kind to my boyfriend. Ever since I've made excuses not to go to his family events, I forgot to mention his sister's fiance is extremely homophobic, transphobic, and racist. His sister's fiance constantly makes disgusting homophobic comments and even makes racist comments about me. He also calls me a slur for Japanese people. You know, they're 25% Japanese. I don't feel comfortable at all around any of his family members. My boyfriend and I have a baby boy who's turning 3 months this month. None of them were ever there for me during my pregnancy or even asked about how I was doing. Now that my baby's here, everyone wants to be around him. I've used the no one around the baby for the first 3 months, except his mother still comes once in a while. My boyfriend is already talking about planning events with his family. However, I don't want my baby around any of them. And for him to hear the things they say, I love my boyfriend and I've told him my concerns, but he says even though his family supports Trump, there aren't bad people. Yes, they are. Girl. Inevitable top. He obviously, like, I'm not gonna become a relationship head, but my biggest barometer when it comes to relationships is how well they get along with my parents. Like that's my thing. If my parents love them and they love my parents, everything is smooth sailing. And if they don't, and I love the person very much, then boundaries would have to be set. You know? Like, hey, my girlfriend does not feel comfortable with you guys, you know, saying all these horrible things, you know, in general. I need you guys to shut that shit out or I'm out of your lives. That's how the boyfriend should come at it. Like, because at this point, his family is not his mom, his dad, and his siblings or whatever. His family is his girl and his baby. That should be where his prime concern is. If he's talking about how his parents are good people and his girlfriend, the woman he shares a child with, is expressing her discomfort, and he's like, oh, let's plan this family trip, she needs to leave him because he clearly does not respect her. He clearly does not respect her. Like that's craziness to me. Like, dude, oh my gosh. But anyway. And then, yep, here's another one. Well, my dad fell down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. During it today, my dad started talking about how he thinks Joe Biden got replaced with a clone. And it's the stupid. Fuck, I hate it here. I hate it here. because he saw a live stream of him walking with his wife, and apparently, according to him, they're supposed to be around the same height, and he was taller than his wife. Like, I'm trying to tell him that platform shoes exist, or that maybe he thought wrong, but no, he keeps insisting that he got replaced by a clone, and everyone at the table, including my mom, who unfortunately is also MAGA, is just thinking, what the fuck? Honestly, I think my dad has watched way too much YouTube and probably needs to get off the internet for a while. Jeez. And then so fucking stupid. Like, it's crazy too, because we actually have a real conspiracy right now with people going like, yo, Elon like rigged the election for 47 to win, and a lot of shady shit's been going down with that, but yet that's their conspiracy theory. Oh yeah, he's a clone. Like, it's actually crazy. There we go. Oh my gosh. Like, just this is the saddest website. And look, here's another one that says, my wife for some time has believed Joe and Jill Biden are clones. What the fuck is just the dumbest conspiracy theories. Ooh, this is a tough one. Accusation is a confession. Didn't I say that too? Every accusation is a confession. Like they project all the time. My Q may have been covering for a child predator. Now that it's been 2 months away from my Q, memories keep resurfacing. I would say the second my Q came into my life, chaotic things were happening. For one, this Q was telling me that my best friend is not safe for the husband. I responded with concern. Then she goes and tells my best friend and her husband that I was saying these hurtful things about her husband when I was only going off of what she told me about him to begin with. So right when my Q entered my life, I lost my best friend due to this Q creating drama. This was before Q was a thing, like 5 years before. Well, my best friend and I reunited. Her husband now knows that the supposed hurtful things I said were not even my words, and I am friends with him again too. And I'm friends with him too. Well, lies continue. My best friend has a twin sister who she has not been talking to. This Q was telling me that the reason these twins are apart is because my best friend would not let her twin sister visit due to not being vaccinated. Yet my best friend told me whether someone else is vaccinated or not does not make a difference, and all that matters to her is if she is vaccinated. Well, the story's about to get ugly. Turns out the real reason my best friend was separated from her twin sister was due to a child predator in her home, putting her children in danger, as well as knowing that her twin knew about what was happening and did nothing. So what was the motive of my Q lying to me that my best friend and her sister stopped talking over vaccines? Was she trying to cover for a child? Wow, all this talking about protecting children, she's covering for an actual... Yeah, this is too much. I'm still processing. So, oh, jeez. But yeah, this is just brutal. Like, this is all this... Answer this question. Do you know anyone who actually worships Trump over Jesus? Yes. I actually knew someone like that. And I cut their ass real hard. Because that's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, that's all this sub is. QAnonCasualties. And emotionally, it's a hard thread. And I didn't even find any of the most brutal ones yet. Which is the worst part. Like, some of these are like light hitters, but there was some that was like gut wrenching. Like, there was one where it was like, my wife for like 40 years fell down a rabbit hole, and now I have to divorce her because she's, turning our children, down that path, and I don't want them to go down that path. Like, there are some real tragic stuff in this sub. And that's why I think it's the saddest sub on Reddit, like emotional wise. Because there are other like tough subs, but a lot of that stuff is like very violent and has a lot of gore and it's heartbreaking in other, ways too. But this like, if you're a huge family person, like, I guess like I am, this sub would hit you. Cause it's like, can you imagine, have like growing up with your brother, having all these memories, and then next thing you know, they're talking about Joe Biden was a clone, and how now Trump and the billionaires are here to save America, and how the Democrats have a weather machine, which is also crazy because they have not, like, since they've gotten into power, they have not used that weather machine once, or like how hurricanes was nano machines programmed to be created, controlled by Joe Biden. Like, there's a lot of shit, conspiracy theories. It's nuts. But like, can you imagine? Or like, what's worse, your parents raised you to be honorable and respectful and to treat everyone as equals, and now they're like, they're my illegal immigrant. And so it's like, on a family level, like, if you're a family person and you're close to your family, imagine losing them to a cult and potentially never being able to get them back. That's why I said this is kind of the saddest sub. In that sense alone, like, you're seeing them fall into the cult and there's nothing you can do about it except let them go through it. All right, but yeah, that is me. I just want to kind of shed, the spotlight on that. And I don't know what I'll do next. Like, I kind of hinted at doing like my first ever playthrough of Undertale, because I've never played it before. So I'm thinking about doing that, but I don't know. I may just look at other like subreddits or like other videos. But like I said, if you guys have any ideas, all of my, social media sites are in the description. Until then, this has been Blues with Southern Blues Gaming, and I'll see you all next time. Farewell.